afternoon. It's rather breezy out here today. Certainly not weather flying conditions, let's put it that way. Anyway, yesterday, or 2 days ago, as it may be, depending on when I upload this video, I sent the third instalment to YouTube of the Harrier build. This model is becoming rather complicated, and well, I've had a few situations with it that I've had to deal with, but now I've got to the bit that I'm dreading more than anything: the heart of the Harrier and what makes it beat. Welcome to RC Heli Check UK and part 4 of the Harrier build. Right, here we go, guys. We are back with the Harrier. Here she is, still sat here, still with a lot to do, but hopefully this is what we're going to be looking at. This is, like what I said, this is the heart of the Harrier. This is what's going to keep it stable. This is the KK2 board that I've been referring to. Basic instructions there to how to wire it all up. But there's a couple of other things that I want to do first. Following on from yesterday, we was doing the gimbals. No, that's wrong. The nozzles and the flaps and getting them all sorted and whatnot. I want to try and get that finished. I've still got to wire up the plugs onto the actual ESCs as well. And then we can look at installing in there where that gap is. That's where the KK2 board's got to go, on there, and it'll be mounted, if I'll just show you, it'll be mounted that way in, with the board facing the front, and then these buttons here are what you use to program it and whatnot. There's certain things I've been questioning with myself. They recommend that the KK2 board is powered constantly by 5 volts. With a battery eliminator circuit, not from one of the electronic speed controllers. I did have a, oh, I'm famous. I did have a Beck fitted to this, which I was originally going to use to power it, but it's I'm not sure how many amps, maximum 5 amps. Okay, where I've got this one. This is a 20 amp BEC, and I'm going to wire this to the main harness, what the 3S4000 will be connected to, and then I will use that to basically power up the KK2 board. Now I'm thinking, because we've effectively got 4 motors, i.e. the 2 on the wings and the 2 in the fuselage, acting as the quad side of it, we've still got the larger 90mm Schubler fan, which you can just see hiding in there, powered by this electronic speed controller, which is a Gecko 150. I'm trying to get my head around the flight controller. I don't think that's got anything to do with that 90mm fan. It's not going to have anything to do with it. I think what will happen there is you have effectively, if you can see, you've got aileron, elevator, throttle and rudder going into these ports here. Throttle will come from the receiver, but I think what I'll be doing is, from the receiver I will have a Y lead, and the Y lead will have one that will go into the KK2 board to throttle obviously up the other 4 fans, and the other one from the Y lead will go directly to the Gecko 150 electronic speed controller. But I've still got to figure out whether, because I'm not using this would normally be what because it's an octo, it hasn't got a battery eliminator circuit in it, right? What I'm wondering is, because I've got power coming into this and there'll be power going to that, whether that will provide power through the wide lead to enable me to use this to power up the 90mm fan by just using the signal wire and the negative and removing the positive lead from there. So there'll be no positive power lead going into the receiver. It will literally be just the negative and the yellow one, which is the signal. And I'm hoping that when I transmit from the transmitter with a throttle, that will go to there, the signal will go to there to increase the speed from the 90mm fan, and it will also transition into this, which will then power up the other 4 fans at the same time. You're getting me? So that's one of the issues that I've got. Another problem that I've got as well, normally with this rudder would be basically on a quad, it will be the alteration of different motors. With the motors, they rotate in a specific way on a quad, so you've got like the top 2 will rotate inwards, the bottom 2 will rotate the other direction but inwards, and it's slowing down of one or all of them, which is what causes it to rotate. We've not got that on this because we've got 4 fans. We don't have any torque value to do that. So I'm trying to think, another thing that's come across me, when I do the rudder, you're going to have aileron and rudder acting together. So ailerons will be obviously on the wings, making the wings yaw from left and right, as though you were doing a roll. So roll left, roll right. But rudder, I'm not sure whether that's going to be disabled regarding how you would normally turn a quad, because the rudder effectively will be connected to these fans on either side of the wing, right? Because they rotate like that through rudder, and that's what generates the yaw. So does that mean that I eliminate that completely and go from the receiver from channel 4 to these via a wire lead, and these then become my rudder? So you're not relying on torque, you're relying on these moving backwards and forwards to roll it from left to right. Another dilemma that I've got to figure out. Now, I was going to build a mule, which was basically 4 motors with a 5th one acting as the fan, to see if this concept worked, but it's too much. I thought I might as well just go straight into it and install the KK2 board into the Harrier, and I will do 2 fans at a time. So the 90mm fan, forget it, that's not even going to be connected. I will do the KK2 board with the front and the back fan, and I will get those working and get the thing doing what it should be, hopefully, with the receiver. The receiver's going to sit there. I'll put this down here. That there is it's like a micro core medical tape. It's like a paper kind of tape. The electronic speed controller would not sit on here with my foam pad that I'd got. It just kept on coming away from the 3D printed surface so much I lost my rag with it. So I ended up getting this tape, sticking the tape down, and then I poured super glue, well, dripped a few drops of super glue on it and spread it all over, and then it soaked into this and underneath onto the, obviously the 3D printed surface, and then I hit it with activator, and it made a hard surface which was non-slip, shall we say, and now that is stuck down, it will not move. It won't move now. And that's where the receiver's going, like I say, and I've completely lost track of what I was on about originally. So, but anywho, yeah, that's my dilemma. That's what I'm faced with at the moment. So I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and we're going to get on with it. So I'll see you in a sec, guys. Right, here we go, guys. Guess what I'm going to be doing now? Soldering. So yeah, you're not going to be watching me do that. Usual time-lapse stuff. Get the soldering done. I need to add some longer lengths on to the fuselage with these cables here because they're a little bit tight. so I'm going to add a bit of length onto these as well. So I'm going to do those. So you'll see me do the wing first, then I'll swap over to the fuselage, and then I'll do that. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit, guys. Right, well that's done. Wings done. That's all ready to go. Extensions added onto these. The only reason I did it is because I need these to go along here, and they were originally going across the middle into here, and it was really tight. I mean, I literally got less than that, so obviously that's why I added bits to them. But I can run them along here now and up, and still have enough room to connect to them. I also went up the camera. Added this. This is a 20 amp Yep Beck. This is what's going to power the flight controller. Okay. Now I wired it into the harness that the battery is going to connect to, because obviously I need power from the battery. And look, I mean, look at this harness. It looks like a squid's testicles. It's, you know. I mean, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Let's see how much this weighs, because I've got a nasty suspicion it's going to be quite heavy. Let's have a look. I've got to try and squeeze this in the nose. Turn on then. Thank you. What do you reckon? Guesses? Answers on a postcard. I'm going to say... No, I'm not going to say, because you'll just say, man, you already weighed it before. 90 grams. Okay, 90 grams. That's quite heavy. But I think at some point, maybe in this video, I don't know, but we know that the all-up weight of this aircraft is meant to be 3.8 kilos. I think it is maximum. So at some point, whether it be this video or maybe the next video, because there is going to be another video, I've still got loads to do, we can weigh it and see how much it all weighs, less the batteries. I know how much my batteries are going to weigh, so we can add that weight to whatever the total weight is of the completed aircraft. I think that's what we'll do. We'll wait till we know it's finished, then we'll weigh it and see what it comes out at. If it hovers around about the 2.5 kilo mark without the batteries, it's gonna go. If it's anything above 3 kilos without the batteries, it's gonna go nowhere. So yeah, we'll check that out probably in another video, maybe the next one, who knows. So what am I going to do next? I'm not sure what I've got to do next. Hold on a second, guys, I'll be back in a minute. Right, I think, well, I think, to be honest with you, the next thing is to get this bloody KK2 board fitted. I've been putting it off and putting it off. Might as well get on with it. I've got to install it into the Harrier for it to work. Now my plan is to put the board in, put the receiver where it's got to go as well, wire up how it's got to be done, and then I'll test the 2 outer fans first to see if I get the required results. So yeah, that's going to be the next video, guys, or the next bit of the video, I should say. Let me get it all ready and then I'll start recording again after. Right, I'm going to move the camera in a minute to give myself a bit more room, but the first thing I'm going to do, install the KK2 board, mount it on the mount that's in there, mount the receiver to there as well, connect up these things that I know they've got to go where, and then I've got these male to male connectors which I've got to use from the receiver to the KK2 board. I will have the diagram with me, the instructions that I've got. Don't criticise me, this is the first time I've ever used one of these things, so it's going to be a bit long-winded, this one, I reckon. But once I've got it all wired up, I'll then come back to you normal, but I'll do this in time-lapse mode, purely and simply because it's going to take a little bit to figure out. Alright, so I'll see you in a bit, guys. Let's go. Okay, right, we've got basically aileron goes to the first set of pins, followed by elevator from channel 2. Sorry, ailerons from channel 2 goes to the first one, elevator from channel 3 goes to the second, throttle from channel 1 goes to the third, and rudder from channel 4 goes to the fourth. Then the last set of pins, which has got nothing on at the moment, that's an auxiliary. I've also connected the nozzles into channel 6 for the port side, channel 8 for the starboard side. They will correspond with the flaps, if you remember from yesterday. So as far as the receiver is concerned, going into the receiver, from the receiver into the case, that's it. I think that is it. Okay, the rest of the connections from the receiver are the other bits and bobs from the Harrier itself. Now, i.e. the retracts, I could plug in actually. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There's that one there. Now I've got main gear into channel 5, so that goes into there. Holy crap, come on, work it baby, work it. It won't go in, that's what she said. Come on, get in there. That is tied like a tiger, that is now. Hold on a minute, let's pull that one back out because I think that's the one that's stopping me. That one goes into channel 5, so that's that one. In you go, push it in, go on. God, that is tight. There we go, that's there, that's the main undercarriage, the centre and the nose wheel. Also talking about that, there was something I've forgotten which I need to mention. Hang on a second, let's put that back in there. That one is again for the nozzles. In you go, you big Jessie, that's it. And then I've got another wire lead. Where did I put it? Where's that gone? Where's that? Hang on a minute, guys, I'm back. Then I've got this one here, which is for the gear wings, that goes into channel 7. That's that one there, channel 7. There we go. Okay, that is one seriously packed out receiver. Hold on, let's see if you can. Nope, don't knock that over. There we go, that's squidgy, and all I've got left is channel 9 and channel 10 that is spare. So the one that I forgot about, which I need to fit and will possibly have to do in a separate channel, is the steerable nose wheel, because effectively that would be coupled to the rudder. So, oh, I'm famous again, twice. So that'll probably have to go into channel 9, and that'll have to be mixed with channel 4, the rudder. So that being the case, if anything happens that the tail wheel is going the opposite way, they're opposites, because it's in a separate channel, I can just reverse one. It'll probably be the nose wheel. So if the nose wheel is going in the opposite direction to what it's supposed to be yawing, I can just reverse it then. So that's another one that I've got to do. Yay! So that's that side. That's everything that side now, I think. I don't want to fix the receiver in yet, because knowing my luck, I'm going to miss something out. Look at that, that is so tight. I've still got to get to those buttons down there to program this. That is really, really tight, she said. Wonder if it would be better for me to mount the receiver on its... No, because if I mount the receiver on the side, the wing's not going to go in. Right, okay. Well, it all fits anyway. That's where that's going to go. This is going to be really tight. The observant of you will notice the aerial. And you'll also notice that behind it is a 5000 kV 50mm fan. And what do fans do? Air in. But yes, I've already figured that out. I'm going to drill 2 tiny holes either side here, and I'll have one coming out of one side and the other coming out the other side, and I'll use some clear tape, or invisible tape as they call it, to have them along the side of the fuselage. So, but I'll deal with that later on. This thing's the bit that I need to get sorted at the moment. Now, according to this, I've got to run a constant power. M1 connector must always have an ESC connected, because the ESC will be the only one that supplies the flight controller with 5 volts of power. This ensures stable power to the flight controller. So that one has got to go to the first one, or M1 as it's showing here, and then the others, which will be aileron, elevator and rudder, will go to 2, 3, 4 and 5 respectively. So that's the bit that I've got to try and squeeze in there now. Okay, let me see if I can show you through this hodgepodge of ethnicity. Right, we've got various little bits of wire and colours and everything. So we've got here, this is your green nozzle, this one, which is connected to channel 8, okay, and then that pin there excuse me, that pin there is what the flaps connect to, okay, and then we've got the red one here, which is the same. That is the red nozzle, and then those pins there is where the red port flaps connect to, and I have managed to get it the right way around this time. So I know before I was struggling, but they're the right way around now. That's into channel 6, sorry. Then this blue one here, which is channel 4, that's your rudder. That goes to the KK2 board for stabilisation, and then these ones here, they go to the nozzles on the outer wing panels, which create the yaw. And then we've got here this one, yellow is for the main retracts. That one there is for the back retract, and the pins that are empty at the moment, that is for the front nose wheel retract. And then this last one here, orange, that one there is for the 2 wing retracts, okay. Now we've got, how can I get around it without nudging the camera? On this side, I don't know if you can see it, these pins here, these are the ones that all go to the electronic speed controllers. So that one goes to the one at the front, and then you got that one, which is the port side, I believe, and then you got this one here, which is the rear ESC, and then the other one goes to the starboard ESC. They're on Y leads at the moment, not Y leads, they're on extension lead at the moment, but I will be changing those when I get to fit everything else. And then underneath all this lot here that I've created, you can just see this clump of wires here. these are the ones that come from channel 1, 2, 3 and 4 and go into M1, M2, M3 and M4 on the the controller, sorry. And then here, this red and black cable that you can see, this one here, that's going to this, which is a 20 amp BEC, which provides a constant 5 amp current, 5 volts, sorry. That's into M8, that one is. That then goes up to the front, which is on that's on an XT30. Can I get it over here? No, because it's connected to the other motor at the moment. But that's it. So that is all the wiring, all done. Now what I'll do next, before I connect the flight controller up, or program the flight controller I should say, I'll arm this up, and hopefully, in fact I can do it now while you're there. Bear with me a second guys. Where's the battery? Let me just grab the battery. So if I turn on my transmitter, blip, just pop the battery in the front. Right, now M1, which is the front fan, you've got to imagine a clock face, how the fans are positioned according to a clock face. So if you imagine that this is your clock face here, okay, 12 o'clock is the top position, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So number 1, this is facing, if the Harrier was facing frontwards, right, if you look into the nose, number 1, like I say, is the nose fan, 2, that fan, 3, this rear fan here, and then 4 is the other one, okay. Now at the moment I've got fan number 1 and number 3 plugged in, because obviously the wings aren't attached, so I've not got those connected. But you must always have number 1 going into M1, okay. No matter what configuration you have, fan number 1, or in quad terms motor number 1, always must go into M1, okay. You can power up your KK2 board with the BEC like I have via any of the other channels. In this case I've got it in M8. Don't make the mistake like I did, if you ever come to do something like this. I actually put this BEC plug into M1, and then I put 1, 2, 3, 4 into 2, 3, 4, 5, and nothing happened. And then I thought, hang on a minute, I read the instructions again and realised that I thought it's got to be that one. So I took that out, put it into M8, put that one into the front, into number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, lo and behold, plugged it in and it fired up, as you're about to see, I hope. Let me know if there's any of that white stuff that comes up, followed by fire. Eek. Right. Now, you can't really see that down there. You can see it's lit up, but I don't know if I move them out the way. It's like chopsticks. I bet you can't read that, can you? That says safe, okay? So if I move my throttle up now, nothing, because it isn't armed. And how you arm it is you move your rudder stick over to the left and hold it there, and there we go, it's armed. Now, I don't know if you can see whether when it changed, but now if I throttle up, I have 2 fans running, okay. So let me zoom out, because the stabilizer should actually be working now, as it is. Let me just turn you off and reposition the camera. Okay, right. So if you arm, like I just said, with the rudder, by holding the rudder stick over to the left, basically if you don't do anything, if you don't push your throttle up, what will happen is it will automatically go into safe mode, okay. When you throttle down, if you leave it for a couple of seconds or 30 seconds or so, it'll automatically go into safe mode. So while I've been changing the camera over and moving the camera, it's still been on, but it's gone into safe mode again, okay. Now, if I show you, safe, okay, move the rudder, you're all looking at me going, that's not the rudder, that's the aileron. No, that's the rudder. I fly mode 1, okay? I fly elite mode, as they call it. I call mode 2 foreigner mode. Comment this down below if you don't like that, but I don't care. I started flying 40 years ago, and in the UK, that time, there was only mode 1. So anyway, I've got throttle, aileron, elevator, hold the rudder, and then it arms the KK2 board back up to normal, and then throttle up. Now if I throttle up and pick it up, you listen to the change in the fans with the stabiliser working. That was just balanced on my hand like that. So yeah, we're coming together. I calibrated this off camera because it's a lengthy process. If you want to know how to do all that, there are plenty of YouTube videos on the KK2 board on how to program it. I didn't want to bore you with that because my videos are long enough as it is. So that's that all working. Okay, I'll put it into safe mode. So now everything's like that, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you, actually I should be able to do that now, with these nozzles connected as they are. Can you see the Harrier in the shot? Yes, you can see the Harrier. Right, that there on the back is my slider, okay, and I've got the nozzles and the flaps connected to the slider. Alright, so when I pull the slider that way, which for me is down, there goes my nozzles. You see them moving? Now that's the maximum travel I've got. Alright, that's what I want, that's all I want. So we go full 90 degrees down, and then we're back about 35 degrees. That should give me some forward momentum, but not too fast. Now if I connected to wing to here and all that finger, then the flaps would basically come down with these. So when they're at 90 degrees the flaps go down, vice versa. When they're there the flaps go up. I've already tested it, it already works. So that's that bit done. Now as you can see there's a lot of wiring in here, and I want to try and tidy it up, so I'm going to tidy that up. But then I've got to fit then the bigger 150 amp electronic speed controller for the, and then what we've got to do then is figure out how to connect that to the receiver of the KK2 board. Now I'm hoping it'll be directly from the receiver, and I won't have to use a BEC because you can't use 2 BECs on this, you can only use 1. And because it's an opto electronic speed controller, then I have to use a BEC. Now in theory, because I've got a BEC here powering up this system which powers up that, I'm kind of hoping that I don't need the positive red cable in the electronic speed controller. I just need the negative and the signal. That way when I throttle up, that will then power up that fan with these ones as well. Okay, so that is going to be the next process. So right, I'll be back in a sec. Right guys and girls, this is the electronic speed controller that I got for the Shubalar. It's a Gecko 150. Let's see if I can, I've got to squeeze this in here, and I don't need that, that's a programming cable. I do want access to that, but if I can get them down there. Beating heart of the fan, of the plane. Well, actually, it's not the beating heart of the plane. I'd say the beating heart of the plane was the KK2 flight controller. This is what gives it its life, I hope. Right. As you can see, I've already colour coded these, so I know that the fan's spinning the right way around. So when I plug it in, these will blow, and they won't thunk, they'll blow. Only trouble is, these bullet connectors are pretty hefty. Now then, come back. Oh, that is some serious grip. Okay, right, so that's the programming cable, just in case. Now, actually, hold on a second. I think, bear with, I'm back. I thought there was. I forgot about this. There's a hatch that goes on the bottom of and it goes on there like that. Is that going to fit? It is. Or it does. Actually, that seems a bit. Nope. No, it does. It fits. Now the thing is, I've got a tiny little scoop there for air to get into, but I'm not going to be having that much forward momentum. So what I'm thinking, because you're not going to see it anyway, I might leave that off to keep that cool. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But either way, I've got to make that up and put there's little carbon fibre rods that go into there for pegs, and then magnets that fit into this here to clip it in place. Yeah, I might put it on. We'll see how hot that gets in future. Right, so that's that fitted. I think I'll probably put some Velcro or something on the bottom of this as well, or maybe even, you know, I might actually glue something across the top of there just to hold it in place. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anyway, but that's that fitted. Now, hold on, stay. It's starting to get tight in here, really tight. Right, okay, that's that bit done. So, in theory, where's the cable for it? That's the throttle cable. So, let me think. That's got to go. That's got to go into 1. That's got to be wire leaded into 1. Right, where's my wire leads? So in theory what I've got to do is I've got to pull out the cable that goes from number 1 into the KK2 board and plug that into this, and then this into that, and then that into that. So let's try. Bloody typical, isn't it? Look at all that lot underneath there. How am I going to get that out? She says, hang on, if I take that one off, if I take out number 8, remember number 8, that gives me better access to that. So, if I pull out number 1, which is throttle, bug off, flies. If I pull out number 1, how much room have I got? Where'd it go? There it is. Oh man, I didn't think about that one, did I? I hope my fat head's not in the way. Right, that's number 1. Now that has got to go. Find out the way. So now I've got to plug that plug that into there, no, and then that one, which is to the bigger Escapade, that's got to go into that one. That's for the gecko, I hope. And then that's got to go back into underneath and back into there. Typically I've got it the wrong way around. That way. So that's back into number 1. Because the top one is the power and bind. Why can't you get it in? That's what he said. There we go. Right. So that now is Y-leaded. So I've got a cable going to the KK2 board, and then the other one goes directly to the ESC, and then that one back into 8, like so. That one back into 8, like so. So that's that. Now in theory, if I plug these back in and power these up and then plug that in afterwards, these will power up via this. Where's it gone? There it is. This will provide power now to the KK2 board via the Beck. Okay. The KK2 board then powers the receiver, and then the receiver sends the signal. So, right, let me get all this wired up and we'll have a look. Okay, got there finally. So, with the main ESC connected up to the Harrier, now I've had to get basically the throttle cable from the Gecko ESC, or should I say the ESC cable. I've plugged that into channel 9, okay, and then I've mixed basically channel 1, which is throttle to the KK2 board. I've mixed that with channel 9, so I've got checking on the monitor. I don't know if you can see that. If you look, that's showing. I've got, whoops, hold on, wrong switch. I've got throttle on the left hand side, and you can see auxiliary 4 that's going up and down with it. So that's now mixed in with that. So the moment of truth. Let's power it up. Hey. Let me just move. I've got stuff here that's going to blur away if I try and power it up. Let's just move it out of the way, just in case. Right. Okay, so let's see. That should be enough. Right, so if I actually right, let me arm it. That's armed. Okay, they work. Make it safe. I'm going to move you guys back. Hold on, let me reposition the camera. Okay, let's plug in this. This is not the battery I'm going to be using. In fact, how much power have I got in it? %. So, let's see if it arms. Right, power. Am I recording tonight? Yeah, right. Okay, right. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a try. Right. Okay, here we go. Helps if you arm the other motors, doesn't it? Now we've got all three going. Right, let's try again. I don't know what that was. Bear with. I think somebody's just got sucked into the fan. Oh my lord. Oh, nothing got sucked into the fan like I thought it was. Great. The cone on the top of this 50mm fan has come loose. And the vibration is at yeah, great. The cone's come loose. I hope the fan ain't. Yeah, the whole fan's come loose. Brilliant. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. Bear with. And when I say the fan's come loose, I mean the whole blade's come loose, not the actual fan itself, the whole blade. Okay guys, we have a horrendously out of balance fan. Looks like I might have to get another one. Basically what has happened, these fans rotate clockwise. Okay, the screws tighten down the cone on top of the fan. I thought there was a bolt underneath the fan that held the fan in place, but there isn't. This actual cone tightens down with a little screw that rotates anti-clockwise, and somehow the screw has managed to work its way loose and has vibrated so much that the top of the cone has slightly distorted. I've tried to rectify it as best as I can, but it's horrendously out of balance. I think I'm going to have to get a new fan. God knows how long that's going to bloody take, if you've got any in stock. But let's try again. I'll go as far as I dare, because this thing wanted to lift just a minute ago. Right, let's have a look. You'll hear the difference. It's horrible. Wow. That was just sitting on my hand really light. I couldn't let it go because there's no other stabilisers that way. But that is unreal. We're going to call it quits on that one, guys. This ain't getting far away from going. I'm going to have to get a new fan because you heard the difference. That sounds shit. But I'll get a new fan for the back. Get all this wiring tidied up as well at some point. But she's almost ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys. As usual, please click on the old like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed for some more content on this aircraft. And keep your fingers crossed, hopefully soon she'll be ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.